Okay, this will be my first new update notes video on Fistful of Frags in literally half a year. The upload date in my last video was March 5th, and this is now September 5th, so ninth month, and that was the third month, so 9, 8, 7, 6 months. It's literally been 6 months to the day since I've covered anything on Fistful of Frags or uploaded anything on my channel, and for a good reason, because there's literally nothing worthwhile to cover. And of course, in my last video, uh, that was March 5th, and just a couple weeks later here on the 21st, then he updated the game. There was a break from January, the end of January. He didn't get back to it till the middle of March. So, obviously, as always said, very inconsistent. But I'm going to try and cruise through these updates here and maybe do some of the forums. Browsing on the forums, there's been a lot of trash posted there lately and a lot of pretty much just stuff you never want to see on a game forum, but it's over there. So I'll cruise through these pretty quick. And by the way, I've still not touched the game. Tomorrow, September 6th, will be my 1 year anniversary of not touching the game. And in my last video, it was 6 months. And then the previous video before that, I believe it was like a week. So now it went from a week to 6 months to a year, just like that. And for good reason, too. And if there would ever be, like in the previous video, there was supposed to be meaty core gameplay updates and weapon balance changes. If there would be something huge and significant like that, where, tons of weapons get balanced, tons of, new maps, new features, adding a new weapon, that would bring me back into the game. If they add a new gun, I mean, I say they, but, of course, I'm referring to the dev, the one person that has access and all the power, the dev. If the dev were to add a new weapon or something, which a lot of people request, as you know, there's been no new weapon added since the hammerless in, I think, December of 2018 or something. So it's been pretty close to 4 years, and we've gotten nothing new in terms of, weapons or anything. But something like that would bring me back to the game. But there's all this stuff here, as you can see, of the sliding and jumping, and he added some weird thing where you can slide on the ground to try and avoid stuff, and you can jump off of walls. Like, is he trying to turn this into freaking? I don't know. It's like he's trying to turn it into some other platforming game. It's a Wild West shooter, and he's adding slides and wall jumps. Like, what the hell is this? People on the forums, you look what they're requesting, and they're asking for, weapon balances and new maps, and he's adding stuff like this. Like, who the hell requested this? And he had a classic shootout variant, which changes some stuff in the shootout, but yeah, big deal. Blah blah blah, cannon stuff. Changed the weapon drops. Messing with the jumps again, and jumps, and then people were complaining, I believe, and he reintroduced cash-based weapon crates because people didn't like the ones that just took. I don't know. First, people were complaining that they were cash-based. Then he took them out, and now I guess he put them back in. So he can't decide what he wants to do with the crates. But either way, so there's that. Changed some maps, tiny bit of map changes. He got rid of a gun on Depot. A new map, a new path to the tunnel's upper area. Okay, so there's a tunnel there, and there was a extremely hard to get to sniping spot inside the tunnel. There's like a little platform, and the only way to get there was if you jumped on the train going through and then rode on the train without dying or getting shot, and then rode it all the way into the tunnel, and then you jumped off. That was how to get to it. So I guess he put a new path to that area to try and nerf it, I'm sure, because, if somebody was there was decent cover, I remember. I think there might have been some whiskey there, but I'm sure he put that in there to nerf it, because as you know, and as you've seen in my other video, he likes to nerf the hell out of that map for some reason in terms of sniping. That was the only map that I really like to snipe on, which is my play style, as mentioned before. And I guess this is just another way. Adding this here is just another way of nerfing a sniping spot. He just hates that for some reason. I don't know. He loves to nerf that map, and that's another reason for me not to go back. And he added a cannon in the tunnel. Like, oh, big freaking whoop. He added a cannon. Wow, God, what a great map. He added a cannon on Tortuga and new lighting and mist. Oh my God, I'm so glad you're focusing on adding new lighting and some mist on Tortuga, which is a map I see on the forums. People complain about the map and they say it's too big, there's too much water. And what's he doing? He adds some new lighting. Blah, blah, blah. Fix bugs. Okay, the next day, people must have been really complaining to him because the next day he did another update. He changed the sliding and the jumping, changed a crate, the gun that appears in a crate. He improved the fog and some layout changes on freaking Tortuga. Why are you worried about making the fog look good? Oh my God, just get rid of that map. Just scrap it or something. And pretty much nothing there to else to report on. Okay, 6 days later, he changed the sliding again and more optimizations on Tortuga, new water, and blah blah blah. Just cater to that map that people hate. Cater to that. Next, 2 days later, he changed the sound effects for lower powered handguns. Okay, who in the hell was requesting you to change the sound effects for lower powered handguns? Nobody was. But I don't know. He felt like that this guy, he feels like he needs to change these little tiny little details, minute details that nobody gives a crap about. He's wasting his time changing the sound effects. Like, God, there's so much else to do. More blah blah blah. Some more stuff for Tortuga. Sliding again. Players may get stuck on world objects when riding on a train. Well, no, dude. That's been a problem. Just spontaneously dying while riding the train. That's been a problem for years and years, and I don't think he fixed it with that. The cannon may break when a near explosion hits it. Wow, he adds a cannon, and then if somebody throws maybe dynamite by it, I guess it would not work. Like, or maybe a barrel. They threw an explosive barrel by it. It wouldn't work. Well, that's no good. Okay, a couple days later, more slide, more jumping, platforming, jumping. I don't know. This is not a platformer. Okay, this is not a platformer. I don't know why that needs to be said, but oh yeah, he nerfed the aiming perks. Ambidextrous, I believe that was 2 stars, maybe? Or no, was that fanning? Actually, I think ambidextrous was free. Right-handed was 1 star, and the left-handed was I think 1, and then fanning was 2 stars. So he nerfed ambidextrous, but he increased the accuracy. Okay, left-handed decreased dual wield accuracy, and then right-handed he lowered the cost, but he decreased the dual wield accuracy. I don't know who the hell was asking for that either. I think they were fairly fine as is. I always thought left-handed needed the accuracy decrease, just not dual wield, just regular accuracy decrease left-handed because it's kind of overpowered with certain guns, but he obviously didn't do that here. 5 days later, a frag master rank. Okay, because we really care about that. We care about our ranks in this dead game. Oh yeah, he nerfed this. If you are Steam level 0, which I'm pretty sure I am Steve level 0, but I mean Steam, not Steve. Steam level 0. That means that you've I think spent no money on Steam and maybe you don't have any games in your account. That's probably me. I've never spent any money on there, never added any money to my account. And so therefore they block me on the website and I can't post reviews and stuff. So I'm pretty sure I'm probably a level 0 or very low. And I guess if I'm level 0, uh I'm not going to be able to use certain weapons and perks in multiplayer games. So that would be another reason to, I guess, I would like to go back to the game, check my Steam level, go back to the game, and then see if maybe I got a bunch of weapons locked and perks locked because I'm not spending money on a third-party website. God, that's really good for marketing there, sir. Block certain stuff because people aren't spending money on the website that hosts your game. I didn't really think about how stupid that was until now, until reading it again. I completely forgot about this. But that really is a extremely dumb. Okay, a bunch of bugs with that. It broke. A bunch of bugs. He had to fix them the next day. So he nerfed the bow on April 11th. It was slower to fully aim, but he increased the damage. That's the one thing I always complained about, and people complain about. You can be halfway across the map, and some guy using, aimbot will kill you with a headshot from a bow on the other side of the map. That's how good that thing is. But it takes longer to aim, apparently, but it's doing more damage so it can kill you even faster. So what good does this do when it takes longer to kill, but it does more when it hits? So that doesn't really, it almost evens itself out, like this does nothing. Oh god, just it's many issues I guess he had to fix there. Blah blah blah. Bug fixes. He added a black bow, quicker firing and more powerful bow available in red crates, because that's exactly what everybody wants is a new bow. The, as many people have argued in the past, the bow and even the hatchet, maybe machete, they shouldn't even be in the game because it's a Wild West shooter and they're not guns. They're like, they're hunting weapons, or primitive weapons. They have nothing really to do with the game and the premise, but they're in there, and apparently he supports that a lot because he added a new version of the bow, and I don't even want to see how bad that thing is. That I'm sure that would piss me off a lot because the regular bow is already bad. This one it's quicker firing and it's more powerful, so I'm sure that would probably kill you 2 hits. The other one can do maybe two, maybe three. That'd probably get you in a headshot as well. One headshot this black bow will probably do. Oh, he decreased the notoriety. Change the sound effects again. Man, these updates are getting kind of infrequent. Add a command, then I gotta wait half a month. Next, he changed the right-handed pose. Okay, man, that seems like a waste of time. Change some particles. I guess he tried fixing the trains, but I'm sure they're still broken. Joining a team may not work sometimes. Wow, that sure sounds like a game-breaking bug. Why'd that take so long to fix? Oh yeah, this is one thing that pissed quite a few people off was the ability to walk. So in the game, normally I guess you're sort of like, you know, speed walking or jogging. And if you would hold, I think it's Alt or Control or Shift, you could walk. And so you would be moving slower, but your aim would, you'd have better accuracy on your crosshair, and he disabled that due to gameplay choices and balancing reasons mainly. And that pissed quite a few people off, and I see people complaining about that in the forums. Personally, I never used that. Whenever I needed to aim, I used right handed. But a lot of people did, and so that pissed a lot of people off with this change. And he doesn't really explain it, but he just says gameplay choices and balancing. Like, explain it better than that, but he don't. So that for me, it was not that big of an issue, but for a lot of people, this is a bad update here. Next, catering to Tortuga again, and some bugs and a spawn thing. Oh my god, look at how infrequent this is. I go from May to June, two in June, then I wait over a month for one in July, and then he screwed with the spawning in team elimination. They spawn together at the round start, then they're swapped each new round, and then successive respawns after round start happen as same as before. Who the hell asked him, can you please screw with the spawning and team elimination? Like, nobody asked that, but he did it. He added, look at this, again, he added some new lighting on Sweetwater. Who the hell asked you to add some new lights? And he nerfed the cannon on Tortuga. And then his most recent update here, I had to wait July, August. I had to wait almost a month and a half for this update. And look what I got. He catered to Tortuga again and changed the lighting again. And then a bot thing, changed the bots, and then changed the right-handed perk again, and then fixed a bug. So that's all I get. So I'm done already. I'm done with literally since January. So I'm done with about, what is that? Almost 9 months, 8 months of updates, and I got that, and I've covered everything. That's all there was. Nothing, basically nothing game changing or significant at all. Just a waste of time. All these just messing with the sound effects, messing with the spawning, messing with the lighting. Like, what the hell? What a waste of time. Maybe I'll check the forums here. Thing is, though, I could probably sit browsing these forums forever. Oh, yep, here's somebody who's complaining about not being able to walk again. And then Mr. Where's Judge at? Oh, there's Mr. Sympathizer. Let's see if I can go through this real quick. I might just do a separate video for browsing the forums because there's so much to cover of people complaining and people arguing and people getting silenced. This guy agrees with them. It was absolutely unnecessary. It butched the dual hammerless. Another thing too is the hammerless. It's such a cool, nice little gun that could be really, useful and fast, but it got nerfed. He nerfed the hell out of it. Then it was still okay, but then he made it so you couldn't get a single hammerless. You got to get dual wield. Like, I don't know, just such a gun that could have potential, but the dev ruined it. Yep, look at this. This explains it perfect. Just read that right there, and that's what happened in the hammerless with this update. Yeah, like for me, it's not an issue as well because I never used it. I always used fanning with the volcanic pistol or right-handed mainly, or like ambidextrous. I think maybe on rare occasion, but that's all I ever used. I never used the walking feature myself, but majority of people did. It seems it was removed as to why. It was extremely buggy. This guy says, okay. So this guy's basically saying there was a bunch of accuracy bugs relating to walking, and instead of fixing the accuracy bugs, the dev just decided to get rid of the feature altogether. Sounds like a little bit of a lazy way to do it, but that's what he did. Yeah, right-handed can be done. And this guy agrees about the poor hammerless. Like all of this stuff too. Another thing to mention here is that with if it had all this long list of accuracy bugs and issues and all this, then why was it in the game for what, 8 years? Why was it in the game for 8 years if it had all these issues? And why did it just take now for it to get taken out? That's the big question. This guy makes a very good point, it seems. If ambidextrous is for dual wielding, then allow dual wielding volcanic and navy and derringers. I don't know about the navy. That gun's almost borderline OP in the right person's hands. But derringers, I could say, in volcanic because those are extremely weak guns. And make it fun instead of competitive. That's another thing too, is that you'll see people in rounds. They're so desperate to get a kill, and they're extremely, panicking and stuff. That's one thing that pisses me off in the game. It gets annoying after a while is how people just panic and are way too competitive in a game that should be really casual and fun. And the dynamite as well is broken. It's extremely worthless for the price it costs. I think it's like 7 stars to get 2 sticks of dynamite, and on almost every map, the chance of getting any kill that is minimal. And here's Judge, Mister. I've got real contact with the dev, and I'm entitled. This guy did leave some comments on my videos in the past, but then after he accused me of being I don't know, of starting drama or something, he just stopped leaving comments. The more caps you use in the shout, the more will be ignored. TNT is not risk free. It costs a ton of stars to get and start with and a few dollars to buy. Not easy to get non-suicide kills with it either. What is he saying? It costs a ton of stars to get. Not easy to get non-suicide kills with it either. It's not risk free. It's not risk worthless. Okay. I don't know what the hell is he trying to say here. It's true. That's one thing you can do with the TNT is you can suicide yourself just for fun. That's the one thing I did many times. Is you light up a stick of dynamite and you go walk into a crowd of people and you blow them all up. But at the same time, you get a huge penalty to your notoriety for suiciding. So a lot of times you do that and you lose notoriety. So other than for the comedy factor, there's no reason to use that or do that. And so this doesn't really explain it here. This is just kind of like a I don't know. Okay, people. Yeah, he asked about dual wielding the volcanic pistol, and he's saying that it was in the gold chest for a reason because if you had two volcanics, you could get very fast rates of fire. Basically, is what he's saying here. Even though the damage is still trash, you might only do 10 to maybe 30 something damage per shot. Even though the damage is trash, you could get fast rate of fire. That's what he's saying, and it became too good, which I don't see really that. I mean, maybe, but I mean, if you got two volcanics, what do they cost? 3 stars each. You get 6, maybe make it 7 or something stars for two volcanics. I don't know. There could be a compromise made, I'm sure, without nerfing the gun. The gun should stay the same. Dual wield needs no more boosting. It's already the meta. Weapon drops have been boosted, same for the perk. What you ask is for very powerful to start with, and it will take a lot of nerfs to the weapons for you to receive this. Something that won't be done anytime soon. He's asking for very powerful to start with. I don't see how he's asking that here. He's asking for more ambidextrous options, but then there is none. Starting, I guess, in the starting loadout, there's not much to go with. But this guy's asking for more, and then Judge calls him out and says, "Hey, you don't know what you're talking about, and that's not going to happen." Okay, so that's not very helpful either, Judge. This will be the last thing I cover here. Somebody called this game out for being dead, which it is. He says less than 100 people playing at average and at the moment, which is what I seen too, a year ago. This guy says There's full servers every day and it's still regularly updated. That's not what I would call a dead game by a long way. As long as people are playing, it's not dead. On top of that, you can play with bots for practice. I enjoy it more than Redemption Red 2 online. Okay, I don't know. Redemption, Red Redemption is extremely different than this, but I guess same time period. Because the dev is doing dumb stuff like removing walking, so people are playing other stuff which makes actual sense. This guy knows what he's talking about. Oh, and then Judge came in. The above statement is dumb, not sure about the user. Here's your answer. The only players that can't use walk at the moment are dual wielding players. Shift walking has been disabled, but you can still use it via the perks. Here you go. All you need to know is here. Well, so somebody calls out the completely nonsensical changes to the game, and then he gets silenced by the moderator. I think this guy's a moderator, right? Oh, he's an officer. Oh, shoot. He's part of the police force for this game. Man, I didn't know there was a police force. I better watch out. He might arrest me. But that's true. What this guy says is, yeah, when I was playing, with 100 people online, you will find several, maybe, I don't know, 5 or less servers that are at or close to capacity. But still, that's 5 servers. And if you don't like any of the maps the servers are running, or if you don't like the game modes the servers are running, then you're out of luck. You're screwed. Or you join one that's dead. That's no good, but I guess that's an option. Or like what this guy says, you can play with bots. And I did that for a while, but eventually, the bots are only so good for so long, and eventually it gets old, playing with bots. And they're not like with real people. Real people, of course, can be more annoying, but they offer more of a challenge sometimes. So this is what happens when you call out the game for being dead. People say, "Oh, you're wrong." Some guy kind of agrees, and then they get silenced by the officer. So there you go. There's an update on Fistful of Frags. After a year of not touching it, and it looks like at this rate, I'm just waiting for a huge, meaty update like it was supposed to happen in February or January, remember? But that never happened, and so I'm still waiting for that. Or maybe a new gun that's actually good, or maybe it changes to like the Derringer or the Volcanic or the Hammerless, like the people are requesting here. Something like that would maybe bring me back to the game, but at the moment, there really is no good reason to come back.